Hi everyone. My name is Devan, and I believe some of you already know me. I'm part of the upGrad LJMU team. Uh, we'll start the session in 5 minutes. We're allowing other learners to join.
Hi, I'm Prateek here from the upGrad team. May I know, is the professor joined?
Hello. Is Prateek here?
Correct, correct. I'm Prateek here from the upGrad team. May I
Yeah,
know who's on the
Prateek, can
line?
you make me the host or co-host?
I'll make you the host. You're the speaker, right?
Yes, Prateek, I'm the speaker.
Just a minute. Because I thought Pooja is also going to join, so I thought I'll just check.
Yeah, Purva is joining, so I'll set the context for this session once.
Sure. So I've given you the host access. Do you think else apart? I'll stay
Oh,
active in this line. Yeah. If you face difficulty, just give me a call.
sure. We see very less participants joining. And can you just write a message to your friends to join this session? I know it's Friday evening and it's not a good uh, time for mostly all of you, but if possible, please do attend this session. This is an important one and it will help you go through the next few weeks very smoothly. Yeah, we'll wait for another 5 minutes before we start.
May I ask what batch is this for?
Hi Ray, this is for the C20 batch for data science and
I was confused. How do I choose my concentration? Because I did not, because I don't see any option there for choosing my concentration,
what do you mean by concentration?
meaning the time forecasting, predictive analytics.
Ray, I'll answer that question. I essentially joined this session to smoothen out those doubts for a lot of you people and how to make the best use of the next 2 weeks. So I'll let you know on that, Ray, and I'll answer that question for everyone if that sounds fine.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Sure. At the same time, right, since we have connected on Zoom and everyone would have access to their uh, camera and voice, it would be great if you could just raise your hand or possibly put on the chat if you want to speak so that we can accordingly, like, take up doubts or maybe ask you to speak accordingly. That would help us just organize the session little well. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, so we can start. Pratik, can you quickly give a heads up on when the alumni will be joining the session? I can take up my part before that.
Let me have a quick check. You mean Purva and Purva, right?
Purva, what time will she be joining? And same
I
with
have to check with the Niharika. Just let me have a quick check.
yeah, please do put out a message. Till then,
Sure.
I'll address my part here. Thank you. So, hi everyone. For those who do not know me or haven't heard from me in the past, or have not attended the welcome webinar, I am part of the upGrad LJMU team, and I'm one of the core team members who's designed the learning experience of this program along with LJMU. And we had a rigorous discussion on, what is the program structure about, and what kind of offerings or what kind of support elements you will be provided during this particular course of program, right? So I see very little participants have joined this session. It's actually a very important session, and we've also called in two alumni to speak on their experience and how did they take advantage or they levered this particular stage of the program. And also, considering a lot of you might be confused as to what should we be doing now. For example, the question that Ray had put up, I wanted to make it like an alumni plus an AYB session, so that I can answer your doubts or queries, and I can give you some guidance on what to do in the next few weeks, right? So please do hear me very patiently, and let me know if you have any doubts. You can either unmute your mic, or you can raise your hand, or we can answer your question towards the like I'll finish my part, I'll answer my questions, and then the alumni can come and speak, and then you can take advantage of the learnings that you have from them. So I just wanted to show my face and tell you all a quick hi. Quickly uh, I'll put off my camera now to save some bandwidth, and I'll present something on the screen, which is essentially the calendar that you guys would have received for your particular batch. Uh, Firstly, just a quick question, right, before we start. Uh, Arnab says I haven't received any calendar. Arnab, can you check this on your Learn platform and others? If you haven't received, I'll make sure that you are getting your calendar in the next 1 or 2 days from the respective spot and from your upgrad buddy. But at the same time, right, I just want to understand a quick question. Uh, are you able to follow the live sessions that have been planned? Are you able to understand what to do now? I understand some of you have doubts, and Ray exactly pointed that doubt. But is there any confusion on, what you're supposed to do now? What exactly are the submissions in the program? Do you still have doubts on that? Then please do message, or, please let me know. The reason I'm doing this session now, and we'll continuously keep doing these sessions at every intervention in the program, so that the expectations in your head are clear, and you know what to expect in upcoming weeks, right? So let me just present my screen and show you something. Um, how sure if I have access to present. Yeah. So you can see my complete screen, right? So we are on this calendar which would have been released to you in some module on program overview. We also released some modules or videos with Mayank where he walked you through the complete expectation setting of the program, which was similar to, by the way, whatever details we covered in welcome webinar, and which was similar to the queries that we answered there. So he gave a very detailed overview of how your EPGP phase was and what to leverage here, which is your research phase. He also gave you a complete structure about the program and the support elements that you will be getting. And there was a very interesting video by him on growth mindset. So basically, how to keep your mindset very clear, very motivated, and determined throughout the rough waters or the tough journey of this program, and how to sail through the smooth waters as well. So I wanted to show you something that you're currently in, right? So where you're currently in the program. See, you've just started with your research journey with LGMU. And when we say research journey, you're in something known as the bridge phase. Why did we name it the bridge phase? We've spoken about this earlier as well. So this is the connecting phase between your EPGP and your master's journey, right? You haven't really started doing anything yet in your master's journey. And when we say haven't started really doing anything, you haven't started picking out a problem statement, or you haven't started working on your thesis report yet, right? What you're currently doing, you're just trying to understand a specific domain where you would want to do your research project on, right? And to help you take that decision better, we had organized some revision sessions. So basically, every week you had some session with an expert, let's say talking about some details about deep learning, or talking about some details about natural language processing, right? And then you also had sessions in that week to speak about, to understand about uh, some recent developments in that domain, right? You had some head thesis or a top thesis supervisor speak about a particular domain's recent developments, and you also understood some resources from where to gather important papers or data sets related to that particular domain, right? Now some of you might be at par with this, some of you might be lost because there might be too much of information, and you might have missed, let's say, the welcome webinar and do not know exactly what to do. At the same time, you also had some core selectives. So core selectives are nothing but the prerequisites that we released on your platform. So there are courses like prerequisites to generative AI, prerequisites to natural language processing, prerequisites to deep learning, right? Very similar to the domains that we have put out for you. So what we had suggested to you in the welcome webinar, and reiterating on this again, and Ray, please do listen to this very carefully. You had to select one of those electives depending on your choice, right? If you are supposedly wanting to learn or do something in natural language processing, then we released an elective for you, which is prerequisites for natural language processing. And in those prerequisites, there were some fundamentals which we feel are important for you to know. So there might be modules on lexical and, syntactic processing, which we feel that if you are supposedly doing a research work in natural language processing, these are some fundamentals which you should know. Now, it can be possible that beyond these fundamentals also there might be some learning, but then that will be specific to your research work, right? That would be specific to the problem statement that you bring in. Maybe there is some model selection technique that you might have to learn or know about, and that will come, from some basics of your EPGP course. Uh, Taking, let's say, something in time series forecasting, right? Time series has a lot of methods, and the module that you see on prerequisites on time series, it will have n number of techniques. You may or may not apply all of those, right? So you have to wisely choose. You if you have time, you want to study, you want to invest time in revising some things here, you can go ahead and complete that entire elective, or you can study the prerequisites that we call, and make sure that at least you are thorough with the basics. Okay, if you're clear that you have to do, let's say, a project in time series forecasting, if you're unclear of what you have to do, right? If you are unclear whether I should pick an elective like deep learning, or whether I should pick an elective like time series, or whether I should go ahead with reinforcement learning, then these sessions were the guiding path for you. In these sessions, in the fundamental revision sessions, uh, the basic technical details that should comprise of those particular domains. At the same time, in research overview discussions, you came to know some recent developments, or the top research done in that particular area. So that will ignite interest in you, and that was the goal. I hope by now you have some clarity in your head as to what you want to do ahead. If not, right? If not, please pay attention to this in detail. If you don't have clarity so far, right? These next 2 weeks are very, very important for you, which is the weeks that I'm highlighting on the screen, right? Sorry, the weeks that I'm highlighting on the screen. These 2 weeks you have to make the most use of, and towards the end of this week, right, there will be the deadline on research interest form. So there will be a form rolled out to you, mostly on upcoming Monday. If not, if not on the portal, it will be rolled out to you through your upGrad buddy, but we'll make sure that that form is available on the portal as well. So that form is nothing. It's a simple form where you just add your upGrad ID, and you just tell us the domain that you would want to work on. Okay. The entire journey that we did here in bridge phase was for you to take that decision better on what domain you want to do your research work on. Based on that domain, we assign you a thesis supervisor. Okay. And with that thesis supervisor, then you start the rest of your journey, which is the main submissions like topic submission, research proposal, interim, and final thesis. Okay, I'm not getting into details of those submissions right now, but that was what we spoke about in our welcome webinar, and this is something I'm reiterating again. So based on your research interest form selection, we will assign you a thesis supervisor. Now, coming to one very important point, which I did mention in my welcome webinar, and I want you to focus on that again. I had clearly mentioned that if you are unclear of what specific domain to choose, and if you feel you do not have time right now to study anything new, right, you can go ahead and choose something that you are confident on, or whatever elective or specialization you chose in your EPGP phase. That way, you will already be thorough with the prerequisites. If you want to revise that, of course, you can spend this time and revise those electives. But you will be little confident in your research work. Of course, I'm not demotivating you from trying something new. Like I've always said earlier, and I think Mayank would have said the same thing in his recorded videos. A lot of our alumni have done really interesting projects in something that they did not study in their EPGP phase. Okay, so for example, Gen AI, especially that was getting developed, and it's still getting developed as we speak, right? So there will be a lot of recent developments which you haven't studied, but you can potentially study some things from some research papers and all. So make sure, if you feel you have that time, and you should be ready to devote that time, right? uh, if you are willing to do that kind of learning, then please go ahead and do that. uh, no one is going to stop you, but you will have to set your own study timelines and schedules, and you will need to be clear on that. There will be no weekly deadlines or no hard deadlines put from our end on you for those level of studies, right? It's also possible that while you are in the main program, when I say main program, meaning when you start with the main submissions, it's possible that you might have to come back and revise some things here depending on your problem statement, which is totally fine, right? Research is a never-ending learning journey. So you will have to keep coming back and keep learning, which is the main idea behind research. Now, so far, are you with me? Are you, how do I check the chat?
You can click on the
Yeah,
chat icon.
yeah, I'm on chat.
You can
So,
click everyone if you want to know everyone's chat. Yeah.
sure. So Ray has raised his hand. Ray, you can please speak. I'll go on mute.
Yeah, I chose the data analytics concentration for my DSC 50 batch, and I wanted to know what is the most likely suitable subject for data analytics course, because I'm a complete beginner from a non-tech background, and I do not have
Okay,
much of a choice. I mean, I don't want to choose. I want someone to guide me to choose whichever whatever topic is has a lot of references, a lot of help, a
right.
lot of people are choosing, and also which is easier for me to complete, because I'm not from an engineering background, I'm not from a software
Got it.
background.
Got it. So Ray, I think that's a very, very good question, and it will help others also. So you're clear you want to do something in data analytics, right? Is that true?
Yes.
Yes.
Not, I don't want to go into machine learning, deep learning, and all that complex stuff. Only I want to stick to the basics. Whatever is employable, whatever the basic skills are in demand in the job market.
Got it. But what
That
exactly
is
do
my crystal clear criteria.
Got it. What exactly do you want to do in data analytics? So, for example, I believe from your conversation, you might want to do something in predictive analytics, let's say, right? Basic prediction or basic like data handling or basic regression techniques. That is something you can do, right? Um, Now, see, the entire goal of this program, right? The entire goal of we asking you to choose that particular research domain is for you to tell us where you want to work on. Accordingly, like I said, we'll be assigning you a thesis supervisor. With that thesis supervisor, you will be doing your topic submission. So, to answer your point, that who will be helping you with what kind of topic should I work on with, your thesis supervisor will help you. But a very important thing here is don't go empty-handed to your thesis supervisor. Okay, I understand you're a beginner, but you will have to dirty some hands in the soil, and you will have to do some paper scrapping yourself. So, for example, let's say you have completely no idea of what kind of project you would want to do. So I'll just do one short demonstration for you. I want to minimize this. I just want to show you, right? If I am a beginner and if I'm trying to, let's say, uh, uh, lure myself into a specific topic, then how do I do that? So just okay, how do I drag this down? This is very okay. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I've been using Zoom after a long time. But there are like few papers that we gave you. There are few, so if you recall Mayank's videos, right? There are few resources that we shared with you, which are some open source websites from where you can take some initial help in deciding your research domain. Okay, so one such resource that we shared with you is Papers with Code. Now if I go to this website, right, it has dedicated, sorry, I directly opened one paper, but it has dedicated sections in particular fields. For example, they've segregated some papers based on computer vision, natural language processing, medical, meaning healthcare related, also not specific to any methodology, time series, graphs, speech, audio, reasoning, decision making, playing games, right? So, Ray, if I'm, let's say, you, right, and I have no knowledge about these complex things because I'm new to engineering, but I see something, let's say, in basic predictive analytics, and I will, uh, let's say, just try to explore this. I won't go into classification or medical image classification because that is something not of my interest. But let's say, I just want to understand something in time series prediction because this is also let's say a good prediction technique, or I just want to understand what exactly happens here. Let's say even if I don't know time series, right? So I can just try to click here on a paper, or let's say. So, you see, I just have opened a paper where it speaks about evaluation of deep learning models for multi-step ahead time series prediction, right? Again, I don't know what multi-step ahead time series prediction is. And here, I'll do a quick review, or do a quick reading of this abstract. Basically, abstract is nothing but a short summary of the paper which people put. And in the abstract, it sounds like they've applied some RNN and LSTM uh, uh, methods, and they've applied that in improving, let's say, some accuracy on the given time series models. Now, I don't want to understand about this. I don't want to understand about neural networks or LSTM, right? So you can do two things. Okay, either you can reject this kind of approach, or you can reject this particular methodology. uh, you can either gain something from it. You can I had no knowledge about, let's say, time series so far, but when I came here, I started doing some reading. I understood that people are applying RNN and LSTM over time series problems to improve accuracy, right? So at least not from 0 to 100%, but I've reached somewhere. I've reached from 0 to 10%. I've increased some of my knowledge base. Okay, I can, if you want to explore more here, you can go to the PDF, do some reading here. Again, you are in a very initial stage, right? Don't do a complete reading of the paper. You can just take a very high level summary of the abstract and try to understand whether that idea is something that you relate to. If not, you just go back and keep exploring some things more. You can also uh, do some interesting search on Google Scholar. So Google Scholar is a dedicated Google portal for uh, only research professionals, right? So let's say I want to do some research in basic prediction. Okay, I haven't even given it a very good prompt, but even when I search something like this, right, they've literally given me a lot of results. And just skimming through this, right, I can understand what all interesting things people are doing. So there is something, people are trying to predict some risk of cardiovascular diseases. There is something going on in hope theory, which could be some theory, right? I can just take a very basic understanding of what it is and try to understand, whether that is something I would like to do or not. So the goal of this exercise, right, Ray, was just to tell you that I will have to put some effort and come up with some ideas, read few high level things and go before I approach my thesis supervisor. I cannot expect my thesis supervisor to completely dump a research topic on me. See, because at the end of the day, I may or may not like that, right? Second thing is, I may or may not be completely compatible with that. What if my thesis supervisor gives me a very, very technically advanced topic? Of course, you and he or you and she will keep working in sync, and ultimately you will come down on the same tone. But let's say in the start, you find it little difficult, and at the same time, like we've always said, that research is your work, right? You go to the thesis supervisor. He's like your Sherpa, but he doesn't do the climbing for you. So I just wanted to show this short activity, and through this activity, right, I wanted to ensure two things. One, have you started doing this kind of basic reading? If not, please do start doing that. Second thing is, these kind of activity will just tell you the wide variety of research that has been happening in these domains, so that you get some ignition somewhere that, okay, this is something interesting to me. This is something interesting to me, like that. And then, of course, these research overview sessions were done to help you do this activity. If you could not go through these research overview sessions, you could not attend, I would just request you to go through their recording and go through the parts where experts have covered some resources. Okay, so experts would have dedicatedly shared some resources for NLP, for data analytics, for prediction, for so and so, for reinforcement learning. Okay, so I'm sorry for taking so much time, but I wanted to cover this in great detail. But now coming back to something very, very important that we've planned for you for the next 2 weeks. Okay, and pay attention to this in great detail. Now, what we've done, right? So far, you went through some sessions. Again, we have some sessions this week as well, because we aren't done with all the top electives yet, all the top research domains yet. You will have some sessions on reinforcement learning and explainable AI yet to be done. But now, uh, the next 2 weeks, right, we are organizing some slots, which we call as small group research sessions, okay, with some top thesis. I shouldn't say top thesis supervisors, with some selected thesis supervisors in these domains. If I use the word top, you'll end up getting the expression that, okay, I want that thesis supervisor only and I don't want someone else. Uh, but every thesis supervisor of ours is equally expert in all the domains. So we've just selected a few to take sessions based on, their based on their work and the years of experience that they spend with us, and of course their delivery and as well. So in these SGLS, right, you will have some dedicated slots. So let me just pull out that sheet.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
basically, hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically similar to one of the guy asked for data analytics question, background, like what topic. I am also getting confused. I have done IIT upgrade from the data engineering background. Uh, uh, in the data engineering stream. Now actually I'm confused like which stream to be chosen. I am having engineering background, but learning the all the models in deep will take time, and it will also, and meantime also need to submit the topics. So I need a
Right.
guidance and advice like which topic will be more suitable so that I won't need not to learn more, but can align data engineering knowledge to it and do the research on the same.
Got it. So, may I know your good name, because I'm just doing screen share and I cannot see who's speaking.
Ashish Kamath.
Yeah. Hi, Ashish. So, Ashish, actually, I did speak about this in my welcome webinar and reiterating on this again. So, for
Okay.
people who come from data engineering background, right, you
Yes.
do very little learning on machine learning or basic data analytics. You've gone through some basic prediction models, You've gone through some basic regression techniques and some basics of unsupervised learning like clustering, right? And then
Yes.
you totally go and start studying about tools like Hive, MongoDB, etc. So
Yes.
now my suggestion to you is, if you do not want to study something new, and you want to leverage something from your EPGP phase, you can do something in basic prediction techniques, right? Uh,
Okay.
you can possibly take up a problem in regression domain. You can possibly do something in clustering, and you can apply that in you can apply your data engineering skills as well. So for example, I'm just giving a very hypothetical scenario, but your major focus on research could be, let's say, uh, uh, or automating some ticket classification, right? Where basic techniques of classification is applied, but you're doing it, let's say, in real time. So you will have some involvement of Kafka, which will
Correct.
give the which will give you some like real time data. Or if you feel that is a little difficult, you can possibly use Flask, or you could use a deployment technique to deploy that thing on an actual web page and see or demonstrate the impact that, let's say, I'm creating like a chatbot which is actually deployed on a web page, and I'm able to measure its real-time impact, right? But whatever technique you choose, the main idea or main research should lie in the core problem. Data engineering is just an application. You've just used some part of data engineering to make it little interesting. I hope that part is very clear with you, right?
Yes.
Your
Yes.
main problem will still lie in automatic ticket classification for a specific thing. Let's say, you're trying to, let's say if to speak in terms of Indian audience context, uh, Zomato and Swiggy, they have an automatic chatbot to answer your questions, right? But
Yeah.
there could be some discrepancies in their, for example, uh, they uh, they do not automatically get you connected to the delivery partner, or they do not automatically get you connected to the restaurant. Let's say that could be a potential problem that you're trying to solve, right? So you're automatically trying to classify some tickets and trying to direct them into specific departments, let's say. Maybe this is a larger problem. I'm just, whatever is coming on the top of my head, I'm just trying to make that as an example to help you understand. But my larger problem, you see, is in this assignment problem. I haven't really spoken about data engineering yet in my research topic. Data
Yes.
engineering will get involved when I have to use that real-time streaming data of Swiggy or
Correct.
Zomato. So that is something that you can think of. But again, see, you have better experts than me to help you around this when you get assigned a thesis supervisor. So whatever core problem you choose, right, whether it's basic prediction technique or time series, I would suggest you can still do something interesting in deep learning or advanced as well. But of course,
Jenny.
if you're interested, and then whoever is your thesis supervisor, you go and speak about this with him. Yes, but at the same time, do some background check from your end. Do some background research from your end. Don't go empty-handed. The same demonstration that I was showing you.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, okay.
JNA can be mapped with this.
GenAI can, of course, be mapped with this. In fact, the automatic ticket classification problem that I just gave you is actually an application of GenAI. Imagine you're using some prompt engineering technique to do this, right? You can definitely apply that. But I don't know if, how well can you apply proper data engineering specific thing in GenAI, because if you are using GenAI, you will mostly end up using some, OpenAI API, right? And you will be working with an existing open source LLM. So in that case, I don't see very practical application of data engineering coming into picture. Or I may be wrong. Maybe there are some recent developments where you can, let's say, apply Flask, or like I've known someone who's made a custom GPT model, and they've deployed it on Flask. But again, like you'll have to explore, and I'll also have to explore. But these are my thoughts on it. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yes. Okay.
Hello. So, like, I
Yes.
wanted to ask, if someone is a fresher and they have no experience in the industry since, like,
Yeah.
no job, so, like, how can they explore which particular industry to select a topic in? Because, like, a topic is basically a problem in certain industry, suppose in healthcare or machine related, right?
So Rahul is speaking, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Rahul, could you help me understand what elective did you take during your EPGP phase?
During EPGP, I selected data engineering, and for this research, I'm thinking of picking a Gen AI.
You're thinking about picking Gen AI. Hello?
Same here.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Rahul, I've just answered that question. I think if you're a fresher, see, it doesn't matter whether you're a fresher or coming with 5+ years of work experience or 8+ years of work experience, right? As long as you are able to handle the technical details of the project that
No,
you
like,
choose.
I'm
Hello?
not talking about that. Yes, I'm not talking about that, because since I am asking about, like, they are not certain about which domain to pick during research. I'm talking
Got it.
that I am talking that I'm all right with Gen AI, but I do not know in which particular industry should I select the topic in, like healthcare or something machine related or something. I'm talking about the industry related problem, that because since after the bridge phase we have to select 3 topics, right,
Right.
to research in. So, like, those 3 topics are most likely 3 problems in certain. Suppose we are picking for computer vision to select they are something about braille, something we are who are blind people. So it is in healthcare,
Right.
right? So because, like, if certain people who have a job and they have a data or experience in that particular field. Suppose someone is a doctor, so they have already experience in that field, so like, and they can research in that certain, they can apply the research in that direction. Like, I'm talking about the freshers, since they do not have any particular industry experience in certain field. So, like, I'm talking about which domain they can research, or like how they can select the papers, like in which domain they should pursue. Since even the papers we read, whether it is in any domain, it is certainly in certain industry related problems.
Right. That's a very
So,
good
like, which
question. That's a very good question. But let me answer. Let me ask you, why is the domain required? See, if you have made up your mind that you have to do, let's say, a speech recognition tech. If you taking the same example that we have in the videos, right, and what I used in my welcome webinar, if you want to do something for blind people, and let's say you want to make a speech recognition thing for them, why is the
no,
domain?
that's no, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The people who are already decided that they are going to use speech recognition for blind people, they already know that they are going to do it in healthcare department. I'm talking about
Right.
the people who do not have any topic decided,
Right.
like in
So
which
even in
domain they
that
should
case,
focus.
right? Even in that case, see, I am not asking you to decide, or we are not asking you to decide that you have to do speech recognition for blind people yet, right? See, our goal is to just ask you to come down or narrow down on one specific technique that you might be comfortable working with, or one specific domain you might be comfortable working it for the rest of your problem statement. Now, even that speech recognition tech, let's say I'm choosing speech recognition as the outcome of my bridge phase, okay, as the technique that I would want to work around. Now I can possibly apply it in healthcare. I possibly can apply it in finance domain to interpret, some stock market discussions. I can and apply it in some other things. That outcome will come out of some literature review that I do. And whether or not, see, even if I'm a fresher, right, and I have no background knowledge about that specific domain, ultimately, domain knowledge comprises some part of your research work. And when you do some paper reading, when you do some data analysis, when you speak with that thesis supervisor, right, uh, you will get some background check on that particular domain as well. Now, let's take, for example, let's say, I don't know. I mean, I guess you haven't worked on this project because you are from the data engineering background. But there was a very interesting capstone in data science EPGP phase, which was on application of some time series models on basic stock market data. Okay, and to work on that problem, people had to understand some basic stock market knowledge and some basic terminology related to stock market. Now, of course, in that capstone, we gave them some very, of course, whatever knowledge was required, we had those videos with a suitable industry expert, and we had made sure that, people will be able to answer that question. Whatever research paper you're going through, right, that paper will give you that background knowledge. It will help you understand that particular terminologies. If not, right, that paper will be built up of another set of literature reviews. And as you dive deeper into that particular problem statement, you will understand at least the basic essentials required for you to solve that particular problem in finance. For example, I am a very
Look,
I have no
I just
knowledge
wanted to
about
understand,
finance. Yeah.
because from what I understand,
Yeah.
from what you say, that in order to learn to which industry we should focus, we have to read many literature review papers on of many different industries so that we can understand ourselves in
No,
which industry we are.
that's not what I'm trying to ask you to do. See, you do not have time to do that much. Okay. All
That's
I'm
what.
trying to ask you is, yeah, sorry, you want to say something?
No, that's what I was saying. Because there is a very limited time to do all these things.
Yeah. So say that's where exactly I was coming to. So let's say, I want to work on credit card fraud detection in a banking sector. And I have no knowledge about bank. Seriously have no knowledge about banking. I have no industry, right? But I know that I know what credit card fraud detection means. Okay, I know some basic terminal. After knowing that, what credit card fraud detection means, I know that there is something known as credit score. I know that there is something known as a default on credit card payment. I know that there is something known as uh, a status that the bank gives to each customer, whether they are recurring customers or premium customers or customers who will default. So there are like some terms which I come to know from my basic reading, and these are sufficient as long as it serves the statement of my problem statement, right? Even let's say I have no knowledge on how I mean how RBI has set up some guidelines for credit card uh, like evaluation, or the credit score evaluation. That's none of my business as long as it's not affecting some part of my problem statement. So whatever limited knowledge I require to solve that credit card fraud detection, and whatever terminologies like credit score, the customer tagging, and some essential bank related statements that I need to know, that I will come to my basic reading and the paper that I'm referring to. And that is essential for solving the problem. It doesn't mean I have to master that complete finance domain, right? Even if I'm a fresher. So I
Not,
hope I was able to do some justice to your problem statement. And at
no,
the same time, right, I did not even have to go to other industries like healthcare or uh, supply chain and
no,
understand.
like
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm asking. So because
yeah,
the credit card detection you told, it is mostly about a classification, whether it is a fraud or not, right?
right, right.
So even though I have decided that I want to do a classification, like is there any way like for me to decide that okay, I want to do only the credit in the finance department, I
That
want to do credit
that
card.
is what I'm trying to tell you. That you will come to know from basic reading. That you will have
So
to
like
see.
mhm.
When you understand some experts speak about it in these research overview sessions, or when you yourself go through some high level literature, right? Like the example that I showed you. Let's say you're going on papers with code and just skimming through some papers, right? At least you will come to know ideas of what is done in classification. And maybe after that, I decided that, okay, credit card detection is something maybe I'm little
Okay.
familiar with, and I can, possibly do this. Other classification things look little tedious to me, or, I might not want to do that right now.
Okay, okay. So like
And
read a brief overview of multiple research papers, so like to
yeah,
understand the domain
yeah.
you're
Even I don't even
suited,
have to read
comfortable in.
even have to read the paper. A basic understanding from their topic itself can help me understand. The example
Oh,
that we took right now, right? I went to a time series paper and I realized they are using LSTM RNN. I have no knowledge about LSTM RNN. I know that I won't be able to apply that. So I go back and apply, explore some simple things. This is one way of seeing. This is one way of seeing. There
okay.
are other ways
And
where
for and this further can be discussed with our supervisors, ours, right?
yes, yes. This is just for your basic background, so that you are well prepared in front of thesis. See, you cannot expect the thesis supervisor to give you the topic. You will have to come up with some interest and
Yes.
some idea of your own, so that they can guide you accordingly.
So just read the brief overview and whether when there are questions, just ask the supervisors to clarify
Yes,
them.
yes. In
Yes,
fact,
okay.
sorted a very interesting part of this session for me. This is exactly why I've brought a very interesting activity. So for all of you for the next 2 weeks, right? And I would want to quickly cover that so that we can also then leverage Purva, who's been an alumni with us, to speak on the remaining part of the session. So Rahul,
Deval, can I interrupt you for a
Deval,
while?
yeah,
Deval, I had one
who's
question. I
this?
wanted to know, suppose someone Ayush this side.
Oh, yes, Ayush.
Yeah, so I wanted to know that suppose someone chooses the topic large language models, and then we have
Yeah.
to train it on. You can hear me, right?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm saying that suppose someone chooses large language model as a broader topic, and in that we will have some topic, and for that we need to train our model. So we need resources, infrastructure such as GPT 3.5 or GPT 4. So we need API key. So in one of the call you mentioned that we will also get infrastructure from AWS. So can we do this training from the infrastructure upgrade will provide, or we have to buy our own API keys for doing this training and learning?
Actually, these these keys are I mean, LGMU has a dedicated GPU source. It's not upGrad that gives, LGMU provides that. uh, and it provides to a specific credit limit, which it feels is suitable for everyone's research work. If you exceed that particular usage, right, then that is something that you'll have to get on your own. But in terms of API key, right, a very specific question that you asked, Ayush, let me get back to you on that. Reason being is, in the past, few learners have done projects related to building their custom GPT model. But LGMU did not provide them a specific API key. And the learners had brought that on their own. But let me check on this and get back to you. Reason being is LGMU gives everyone some specific GPU access. And if you're doing, let's say, a large language model project, right, then the GPU requirement for you changes. Like then you need an API key.
Right.
I'll have to check that with Dr. Manoj and Dr. Dhia, whether they will be able to split this requirement based on the research that learners give. But as long as I know, learners have done this on their own in the past. Yeah, let me get back to you on that, Ayush.
Yeah.
But
So
definitely all the resources required to deploy your model and all is sufficed as per my knowledge in the GPU that they give. But again, like, one is because now the number of projects in GenAI will always keep increasing with advent in it. So I need to check this.
yeah, because even if they will not provide, then I wanted to understand that how much there are different packages OpenAI provides. So in terms of which package one should take, and then how many tokens I will hit during my project, because I'm also doing the research. So I'm not
Right.
aware. So even lump sum, I want to know the cost estimation. If I have to buy that from my side, what would be the estimated cost I could incur? Because tokens could be multiple in terms of thousands, or maybe if I'll do something, it could be like, I mean, it's completely unexplored area for me. So please consider that part as well.
Got it. I'll let you know, but as long as so I mean one of my friend had purchased GPT-4, and I think they ended up paying some $22 or $20 for an entire month. And they so even the pricing that you have to take, right, and if you are to take that on your own, it's it's very reasonable, to be very honest. And then you can use the other GPU access that LGMU provides. But nevertheless, let me check on the OpenAI API part, if LGMU can provide that. If not, please be very open on, on this idea that if you have to invest, it will be a very, very minimal pricing. And why I'm saying this is even in your actual research work, right? And this is based on my experience from all past batches. You end up using GPU for very, very little time. Yeah, $20 plus tax. So you end up using GPU for very little time, hardly for 1 month or so. So whatever one-time purchase, let's say if you have to invest these $20 also, right? You will be doing it just one time, and in that one time you will be capable of running your research work, and you will be able to get outcomes. Because see, actually when you once you've entered your interim report stage, right, uh, until then you haven't reached your research methodology part. And from interim report to final thesis is roughly 1.5 months. Roughly 2 months, out of which 1 month you spend time writing, 1 month you spend time researching. So exactly for 1 month you need GPU. So this is like, how you should tactically maybe think, if at all you have to do something on GPT.
No,
And
I think you are getting confused. GPU is different. GPU is used to train the model. GPT is used for the fine tuning. Chat GPT, OpenAI. So
yeah,
in
that
that
I understood. I'm answering for GPT. Whatever pricing
GPT,
I gave, and I think somebody else also
okay,
wrote $20 plus tax, that I'm giving you for GPT.
okay, okay. Okay, please check them with LGME also.
Yeah,
And
but at
thank
the
you.
same time, yeah, uh, like just giving you a fair estimate, even if you have to spend something on your own, it'll be very minimal and for a very small time.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Deval, my question is regarding the data sets, right?
Yeah.
Because we have finalized on topic, suppose, right? We need to get the data set to do our research paper. What if we don't find the data sets? Do you have any repository of free data sets, or how do we go about it?
Good. I just have one question to you. How will you finalize the topic without a data set?
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what I'm asking. So
so I
because
just
all the
thought,
research papers that we are reading online, we
yeah.
don't see any data sets or anything. We just read like the abstract part of it. So I don't know how to proceed about it, about the data sets.
Deval, if you don't mind, I can take that question. This is Purva.
Sure. Sure, Purva.
Hey, so I am actually going to touch base on all these questions that you guys are. I was listening through, and it's interesting to know that yes, you're on the. These are all the questions that you will get when you start on your research journey. So there are few things that you would need to know, even though like we would find something very fascinating as a research topic. We need to know that the data availability is going to be a challenge. So one thing is, if it was a PhD or a doctorate one, you still do have time to generate your own data sets and stuff like that. But here you will have a time-bound program. So I would recommend you to first check for the available data sets before you even finalize the topic. So when you have searched through or shortlisted, say 4 or 5 topics that you want to work on, see those and you have read through the papers. They also do provide some links to the data sets that they have used. If those are available, then you can even check and see if you can reuse the data sets there. Otherwise, you'll see data sets at Kaggle and maybe some government sites. If there is something that is related to a government topic, then yes, you will find some data sets on the government websites as well. So depending on the problem statement that you're using, but yeah, these are few things that that you will have to check through. Yeah, I think someone has a question.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, just to add one point, right, before we go to the other question. So, I'm sorry, I'm not able to pronounce your name, but it's Reddy Wari, right?
Bhavani, you can call me
Bhavani.
Bhavani.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Bhavani, what I would suggest, right, like Purva rightly pointed out, that you can go to open sources like Kaggle, GitHub. But even the paper that you're referring to, right, or even the idea that you're referring to, we went on that website. I don't know if you saw that demo or no, which is Papers with Code, right? In on such open websites, alongside the paper, you will find the data set. If you're unable to find, right, my trick to you would be, my tip to you would be, whatever idea you have. Okay, let's say you want to do a multivariate time series model in a finance domain. You can just put that out on Google Scholar or Kaggle or GitHub, wherever whatever are the data repositories that you can find. And then whatever data set you feel that is suitable for a time series problem, you can shortlist that. Okay, it need not necessarily come from the paper. But another tip that I can give you, right, is sometimes if you write back to the author, if you feel that it's like a private data set, you can just find out the author, reach them on ResearchGate. So ResearchGate is a very popular platform where all researchers, it's like Facebook for researchers. Okay, it's they kind of put some hi-fi things about their papers, and they put some important things about data set and all. You can go on that particular website and uh, uh, reach out to their author. And if you feel that the author has given you the data set, just take the no objection certificate from them and use that. Okay, but that is, spend that time if you are very, very confident that you have to use that data set only. Otherwise, use something from open source.
Sure.
Because authors do take time to reply, right? That's why.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Hargurjeet Singh.
Yeah, so my query is that so at this stage we are currently we have to decide our topic. So should we be really worried
You're
about
not deciding your topic. No, sorry. Let me correct you there. You're not yet deciding your topic.
Yeah, we are currently deciding the area of interest, right?
Right.
So at this stage, should we actually be worried about data set, because this is the area of interest? Once we decide the area of interest, then we will.
No.
Yeah, please.
No, you don't need to be worried about the data set now. You're just
Yes.
trying to find out a high level idea, right? Yes, Bhavani, that's an important thing I think we forgot to highlight.
Yeah.
You will be worried about the data set once you finalize a topic. not right now when you're just trying to find an idea. Yeah, to take a high level estimate or to understand whether that data would be workable or not, you can there's no harm in checking, right? You can definitely keep checking, but you don't need to submit any data set details right now.
Yeah, I know. I don't need to submit any data set right now,
Yeah.
but my concern is about data because I've been reading through quite a lot of papers, but I'm quite not sure whether we get the right data set for it or not.
Makes sense.
So,
Makes
yeah.
sense.
So what I wanted to is once we identify the area of interest, then we identify our problem statement, and only then
Right.
when we identify our problem statement, then parallelly we have to see the data sets as well. Whatever
Yes.
problem,
Yes.
that is the stage,
Yes.
right? So
Yes. Not at this stage. This is little early. But
yes, so
yeah, if you are doing a lot of reading right now, you will end up taking some basic look at data. I mean, there's no harm in checking something. You won't be using it. You don't even need to worry if you are not able to find any data set right now. That is for the next stage when you do your topic submission.
yes. So yeah, that's what I wanted to just clarify. Thank you.
Yes, sure. Okay, just quickly cover some part because there are people who are dropping off, and the main part of the session I haven't been able to speak yet because we took a lot of doubts. Let me reshare my screen again. And for people who've missed, right, and to your peers, please do spread this information. Uh, there are something known as there are some thing known as small sessions that we will be doing for the next 2 weeks. Okay. When I say the next 2 weeks, it is starting from Monday, which is 19th February to 1st of March. So during these 2 weeks, basically, there will be dedicated slots where let's say there is a slot by a thesis supervisor in predictive time series and recommendation. There is a slot by a thesis supervisor in deep learning computer vision. Again, same in NLP and then in Gen AI and explainable AI. Okay. Now, during these slots, there will be 2 hours slot. And during these slots, you go in that slot and ask a doubt to that thesis supervisor or that expert. I'm not calling him a thesis supervisor yet because he's not yet assigned to you and they are just experts right now. But you are out that, hey, I'm thinking whether I should choose time series or deep learning, and this is my idea. Like, I will be able to do this level of technical detail, or I will not be able to do this level of technical detail. Or, what do you think? I'm coming from this background. What kind of data, what kind of domain should I choose? You give me some idea that, I'm planning to do something in reinforcement learning, but I want to integrate it with Gen AI. I want to do something really fascinating in Gen AI, right? What do I do here? Should I do a comparison between GPT-3 and 4 and their developments? Because GPT-4 has, good amount of RL involved in it. Let's say, I've done that. Even if I have no idea and if I have no clue about what to do, these slots, these experts will help you speak, just like how we are having a session right now and you spoke about some doubts to me, right? Exactly. For these doubts, you can go to these slots and leverage them. At the same time, there is an interesting thing which I really would want you to fill. Uh, what I've been consistently asking you to do is do some basic reading. Okay, don't read an entire paper end to end. And I'll be releasing this on the portal on Monday because, the slots start from next week. So what I want you to do is invest good time in the next 2 weeks. If you feel you've missed time so far, and if you feel you haven't done anything so far, now is the right time to pull up your socks. Okay. So the next 2 weeks, pick up 3 papers in a specific domain if you have already shortlisted that domain. If not, pick up 3 papers across any random domain, right? Across anything that you see. So we went to papers with code and, we saw some interesting things in time series. Let's say I came across one paper which really ignited my understanding, like I want to do, let's say, some classification or some clustering technique in time series. And I wrote about that paper here. I've written something like, what question they were trying to ask, some basic information about the data set, some methodology that they applied, what kind of results that they achieved, and what are the gaps in literature review, right? You would have noticed I don't even have to read the entire paper to understand this. Let me just give you some example. Bring this down. So it is, I don't know if you know about this paper, but people who want to work in CNN, right? This paper is like the father of attention model. Okay, this is. Okay, I'm not able to find the master paper, but I can find one good paper on how they've applied attention and utilizing in a drug discovery. Okay, so I can just go through basic introduction, and I can try to understand some things that they've used in their particular research work, or I can take an understanding of their abstract and understand what exactly that they've done in their paper, right? At this particular stage, you do not know how to read a paper, okay? So if you know to read a paper, if you have that time, and how Bhavani has done, she's done like a fantastic reading of, already like some papers by now, and that's a good time investment that she did. So if you have that kind of time, and if you have that will to do it right now, you can take a complete reading of the paper. If not, go through the abstract and summarize a few things here. Okay, you need not even write the level of details I've written. But what interesting thing can come out of this activity is some idea that you would want to do. So let's say idea that I would want to do on my own. Okay, let's say I haven't read this paper yet, but this is my hypothetical scenario. Maybe whatever they've done here, right, I will try to apply it to some data from Indian Medical Association and see if this kind of mechanism will work for drug discovery there, right? So maybe I can do that. Or let's say if I'm already coming from some healthcare background, let's say if I have uh, access to some hospital data or some government hospital data, I can see how to make the best use of drug discovery in terms of what are the constraints that are present in drug discovery, and see how attention models can be used there. Okay, even if I don't know if attention model is something I would want to use, I can just do something. Let's say I want to solve the problem of drug discovery for the Indian ecosystem. Okay, let's say that is like a very, very basic niche idea that I can come up with. And that also I can write here. I have no specifications on methodology or anything. So that idea you write here. And if you are ready with this activity, right, this is not a graded activity, by the way. It is but to help you come up with better research work. And let's say if you are working with this idea, right, you can discuss these ideas also in these small group research sessions and take advantage of these sessions to further deep down on that particular idea. If forget a paper, if you feel that there is an idea from your organization, right? You're, let's say, working in the banking industry and you want to solve the problem of you want to solve the problem of premium customers leaving the bank, and what kind of thing that you would want to do. And maybe you may or may not have started reading papers around it. You can just list that idea down, try to find a relevant paper to it and summarize it here, and then go back and redefine this. Now, the objective of this activity is, right, see, you may or may not finally do this kind of topic. Okay, you may or may not do this topic for your final topic submission, right? Ultimately, even if you're selecting something else, it will get some things clear in your, it will make some things clear in your mind. Firstly, you will have done some activity of basic paper reading. You will have summarized some things from the paper, right? And that will help you effectively read or take interesting insights from a paper. Very, very important thing at this stage. And you will be able to come up with ideas on your own and not just rely on basic things that you see on the internet, right? So that is an outcome of this activity, and see if you can make the most use of it. I'll be releasing this on Monday. And the next 2 weeks, please try to make sure that you read at least, I'm not even asking you to read 3 papers, read abstract of 3 papers, come up with this, and then submit it with your domain form. But a very, very important but here, okay? See, the thesis supervisor who will be assigned to you, he will help you with the research design. Now, if let's say I'm coming, because I got this doubt from one alumni and I want to put it out very strongly in front of everyone. And I spoke about this in the welcome webinar also. She wanted to do something very specific to geospatial data and data analytics in that. Now, the thesis supervisor, right, helped her with everything in data analytics. But the thesis supervisor did not have complete knowledge about geospatial. I mean, he had knowledge about geospatial data, but he himself had not worked, right? So that expectation setting is sometimes very different and it's not realistic. You have thesis supervisors who are professors, PhD graduates, and research scholars who can come from various domains. Their master goal is to help you with your core problem statement. Some domain related things and all, you might have to pitch in and you might have to do that reading. Okay, you cannot expect them to have, you cannot expect them to completely fill all the gaps of your research work, right? That expectation should be very clear. So if you choose a problem statement of, let's say, doing a speech recognition thing for helping visually impaired students who are learning Braille, maybe your thesis supervisor doesn't know Braille. Okay, but of course, with your discussions and all, he will help you with how to proceed with the problem statement, how to do this research and all. But all technical details you should not expect from him. And this is a very, very clear expectation setting I want to set out right now itself. You expect unrealistic, don't expect unrealistic things from your thesis supervisor. Um, Expect them to help you on the research design, because that is their job. Their job is to not help fill like all domain related specific details, everything. So all niche things related to your problem may not come from your thesis supervisor. I hope that's very clear. And I've covered my part. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask now, and then we can go ahead with Purva's part. All good. Okay. Thank you, Bhavani. So, Purva, I think all over to you. We have Purva, who is an alumni with us. She took up the upGrad LGMU Masters program, and at upGrad, she's one of the most reliable alumni for us because she's done some interesting work in data science machine learning with LGMU professors are also very proud of. And we got a very, very good recognition from Analytics India magazine as well for Purva's research. So Purva, I don't want to take any limelight, and it would be great if you can add details on that research work and how did you cope up with that?
Sure, Deval, thank you. And thanks for all the support from upGrad as well. So yeah, guys, welcome to the program. Actually, it's going to be great journey for every one of you. So I'm Purva. I have about 16 plus years of experience in data analytics and AI now. So that's a brief about me. Yeah, research is something that I personally like to do. So that's why this has been a good start for me when I started with when I actually decided that I have to do masters and I have to do masters by research. So it was something that I was excited to. That is most important for every one of you to know, that you need to know what you're getting into, why you're getting into, and if you're excited about it, I'm sure you all will be through with it, and you'll do great. Okay. So so talking about my research part, I think a lot of you are having the similar kind of questions, like how do I choose my research topic? And how do I go with it? How do I decide on my problem statement or the objective? So when I had my earlier discussions with my thesis supervisor, so one more thing. So you guys have got a lot of advantage when you are having these early or pre sessions with upGrad. So this is actually going to prepare you a lot. Right now, when we actually had started, it was quite early batches when we were doing it. So we were kind of trying out multiple things, like whether this topic works good, that topic works good. I personally had shortlisted about 3 to 4 topics, and when we started looking for data and I started reading through the papers, realized that it is going to be really tough, because either there is no data availability, or there are a lot of or a very less material is available. So okay, one rule is, when you have to decide on your research topic, your area of research is one thing, that whether you are interested in NLP or deep learning or generative AI specifically. So shortlist your area of research, and then when you choose a problem statement, you have to see that either your problem statement is unique or your methodology is unique, and both will have their set of challenges. So with me, I had chosen a problem statement where the problem statement itself was unique at that time. So that time there was a lot of buzz about AI generated fake news. It's still there, and we still don't have a 100% solution for it. We cannot like detect it like 100% that yeah, this is an AI generated fake news specifically. But when I did my research, thankfully I had a bit of easy job, because till then GPT 3.5 Turbo and GPT-4 was not there. So I still studied GPT-2 model. Then there was BERT. There was the Grover model that was specifically used that time for generating the fake news kind of a thing. So considering that, I had chosen my topic as detecting the fake news generated specifically by AI, and then a comparative study of the writing styles of different AI models versus the human writing style when it comes to the actual news as well as the fake news. So how different they are, and analyzing the entire patterns that we see. So that was kind of my research area, and I was specifically looking for NLP that time, so I chose this area. So and coming to this, as I said, the challenge that I had, I could hardly find any paper which was talking about detecting fake news that was AI generated. They were fake news and human generated fake news and real news differentiation and all, they were all present, but specifically about AI generated, it hardly could find any material on it. So the methodologies also, we had to like work on it, like then what do we do? And another challenge was the data set. So fake news and real news, yes, we had those data sets available, but then I had actually generated my own data set based on the Grover model. I took the model, then I took the lighter version of it, obviously, so that I could and then generated say about around 100 to more than 200 articles, which were fake news articles based on different genres. And then that was kind of my uh, sample data set, and we were working, and it took me a long time to generate that sample data set as well. And we had a time crunch. So my thesis supervisor was like, Purva, if you are going to take uh, forever for generating the data, I was like, I still need few more articles on this particular topic. I want this topic as well. So you're like, you need to restrict your topics now, because if you continue doing this, we are going to get exhausted with the time. We won't get time to write. So then this is one more like learning that I would like to share with you all, that we need to know when to stop, because we do have a limited time frame by when we have to complete our thesis and submit. Whatever you feel that you could have done, that goes into your future research section. So keep that for your future research section, but try to have your entire research time boxed. So decide a particular deadline when like by this date I must be ready with my topic. By this date I must be ready with my experimentation, and then after that we have our thesis writing and tuning part. So that is definitely very important. That will be very helpful for you as well. So that was one learning that I had. So I took quite some time for generating the news, because I also wanted to explore multiple writing styles. So not just Grover, but Bert, how does it write, and that sort of things. But then I had to restrict myself. So that was my corpus, my data set. And then literature review, yes, I had a challenge. I could barely find 20 to 25 papers which were relevant to my study. And then that literature review was my struggle of searching through papers which were relevant to my topic. But yeah, thankfully that was also through. And then we came down to methodology and running through different iterations of testing, how it goes, which model, and then I use some simple models to see where the differences lie, or what are the differentiators, and then how does the writing styles vary from each model to another, and then how does and all the comparison and study. So again, there as well, if you start writing, there's no end to it, because there are so many parameters that we can actually explore on it. Again, we have to come and say restricted. Okay, no, these are 10 or 15 parameters that I'm going to check for. Rest, I'm keeping it aside. Right now, I don't have that much of time. Also, there might be one thing, because there are a few parameters which I was expecting they should be widely different. However, which was not the case, to my surprise. So that is also something that you can hit at. Like, you might be expecting something to come out in a particular way, but when you actually start doing your research, it is possible that it totally goes on a different direction. So the story, I would say, that comes out of your thesis, it will keep growing as and when you keep doing the experimentation. So you have to adapt to the experimentation and findings that you get, and keep writing in parallel with it. When you do the experiments, keep writing, keep noting it down. So later on, when you actually have to write the thesis, maybe you just need to polish it, because there are so many outcomes that you will get, unexpected, expected, both. So yeah, that was a great learning journey for me, and it has kind of helped me a lot. Right now, I'm also working on, mostly as everybody is excited about the GPT. So I'm working in my professional career also, I'm working on all the large language models only. So yeah, the entire study, it kind of definitely helped me understand how these large language models function, and then how the different writing styles are. Now I am sure that it has changed a lot, but yeah, the basics definitely helped me a lot. That was my journey overall, and I would like this conversation to be more interactive. If you guys want to talk or ask about anything specific, I am open to it.
Firstly, thank you, Purva, for touching on that part where you mentioned that, you'll have to keep reworking, like the story behind your thesis will keep improving and you might have to rework. That's a very important expectation setting to do, especially since people are in the start of their project, right? You shouldn't expect you won't face like tough waters and all. So yeah, but before people start asking questions, right? I just want to put out the interesting work that Purva has done around fake news detection, and Analytics India magazine had recognized her work. I'm putting out the link to that blog here in the chat, and please do go through that.
Thanks, David. So I would have loved to take you all through the entire paper or so, but I personally couldn't prepare for it because of my work commitments and all. So yeah, that's one thing, but definitely go through if you find anything interesting, if you want to pick up something from there, and if you need any guidance from me later, do reach out to me. I'm open for it.
Thank you, Purva.
Thank you. So if you guys don't any interesting questions that you guys have, like another, like apart from the overall writing part and the technical part, there are a few more interesting parts that I would like to share is, when we were completing our thesis, they were like, I don't know if you're aware of it, but I was supposed to complete my thesis in April 2020, and in March 2020 we hit a lockdown. And we all, from our batch, we all were like screaming around like, oh, now what? There is no help at home. Offices and all, everything, we have to take everything at home. We have kids, we have family to take care of, all the support system from home, maids and all, nobody's gonna come. So how are we supposed to complete our thesis in time? So we did reach out to upGrad, almost everybody. It was like, abhi to, like it's all gone and lost. So we all got an extension of a month, and like thankfully everybody was sailing in the same boat. And then and the family support, yes, that is really very
I do
important.
remember that phase very well, because Lord, you and the following batch, like people were all panicking because it's, I mean, you were working because we were all doing work from home, there was a surge in, like, the kind of productivity that we are expected at work, plus we are all having some or the other personal commitments. With the thesis supervisor whom we are interacting, they may or may not be available at the time we require them to be available. So there were like multiple tough phases that we've gone through. But people like you who've really like in very good efforts and have set a very good example for the following batches are I don't know what to say. Like, your example of the paper and the challenges that you just spoke about is a clear reflection of the efforts that you've put in, right? So this, I just wanted to drive this point back and tell everyone else that at the end of the day, what we spoke, right? Your mindset is very important. And if you feel like giving up, you will give up, despite the support and everything else that upGrad LGMU has planned for you, right? So if you feel that you're determined enough in getting it through, I think that will definitely make this journey more memorable. But I have one question for you, Purva, because a lot of people here in this room are facing the same challenge. You mentioned that you were clear on doing something in NLP. How did you come up with that? How did you get to even that idea that, you have to do something in fake news detection? Because that is what people are currently doing. They're trying to find out that idea, not even trying to shortlist a topic yet.
Okay, sure. So for me, I had done my rest of the learning. I had always done other predictive analytics part, which in my office also I was comfortable with it. But NLP was something that was challenging for me. I hadn't worked on in NLP at all. Neither had I done any course on NLP. So, and the other thing was deep learning. So these two things I was determined that I had to learn. Now, if I have to learn, if I do something like a research or something on it, I will definitely learn it and deliver it. So
It's a very
to put
interesting way
that
to
up,
think.
yeah. So I had shortlisted these two areas. One was deep learning and one was NLP. But then when I started looking at deep learning as a specific solution part, so that I somehow felt, because we have a limited time frame. I have my work commitments. I had my kid. She was 1.5 years old. So I know my challenges, my limitations, and probably deep learning is going to be a bit more challenging for me because I'll have to learn and to create variations in deep learning as a technology. It is going to be time consuming. So I may not be able to dedicate that much of time to it. But NLP, when I started looking through comparatively, I found it comfortable and more relatable. So
Okay.
I chose that topic for me, that yes, okay, let's do this first. And then the AI generated part came in, where again that deep learning aspect also came in, because most of these models are the deep learning models.
Right.
Right. So I could touch base on the deep learning, how the deep learning functions and the basics of it, along with how the NLP, the language part of AI works. So that's how I shortlisted my topic. And then, so I was more interested in something that is a unique problem statement rather than going for a unique methodology. Because some unique problem, if you're solving it, keeps you more motivated, or you feel like doing something actually interesting, something that someone has not done. That's a different kind of excitement that you will have. So
Yeah, excitement, and plus I'm sure it'll be very challenging because you spoke, right? And obviously when you started doing research, fake news detection had just started kicking off. Of course, it's still prevalent now also, especially deep fake video creation and all, right? You see a lot of scams happening. And it must have been even more challenging because you find less relevant papers, and you already spoke about that, right? Want to throw light on some tips and tricks where you, let's say if some of people in the audience, they are choosing, let's say, a unique problem statement, and if they don't find relevant papers, right, how do they turn about their research work, and how do they make their journey ahead? Yeah.
right. So they may not find exact same research paper, exact same topic, which I would still say it will be a blessing if you don't find exact same paper that you have chosen, because then it will be good to know that you're on the right path, that you are doing something which is actually unique, and you're not going to get into a zone, a rejection zone, where no, this is something that is already done. Why are you doing it again? So yeah, that is one thing. But so what I was trying to do is anything that is augmenting to it. So when I started looking for AI generated fake news detection part, there are some research going on which was trying to understand the writing styles of AI models. So that paper I picked up as my as a paper that was supporting to my study. So I'm also
Got it.
and then there was one paper which was talking about when a human writes a kind of lie detector. So when you're writing a fake news, and when you're writing about the facts, is there any variation in the language or variation in the writing styles? That paper was studying that aspect of human writing. So that again was augmented. So it was not exactly same topic, but topics or papers relevant to your study, you would definitely find a few, and that will definitely help you. And you can reference them in your study. It will
Yes.
yeah. So
Sorry, you were saying something.
No, that's it. So that way, you can actually go about it. You will definitely find some relevant ones.
Oh, nice. That's very helpful to know. And like you said, so you might not find exactly relevant to the topic, but parts of concepts which will help you aid in solving that particular problem statement. Like, for example, the lie detector paper, it helped you solve some psychological facts which help you detect lies in, let's say, news or articles, and then that learning you can use for solving your main problem statement. And of course, you give references to those papers or literature reviews, whatever you've done there. So that's helpful to know, Purva, because I'm sure a lot of people would have that doubt. Any else questions? I think Hargurjeet Singh has raised his hand. Yes, please go ahead and
Yes,
ask.
a question to Purva that as we are doing new work in the research, have you ever been felt that you might not clear it, or you might feel like you will not be able to finish it on time? Like, how did you overcome such fears? Like, because when we do something new, we always have the fear, will we be able to do it in 1 month or 1.5 months of time? So, how to overcome that fear?
Right. So one part is don't fear one thing. When you have put your commitment to it, put your 100%. And what helped me is I always kept my closed group, so my family and friends involved. So what happens is whenever you're low or when you are low on confidence and you need someone to speak up to. So if I talk up to my family and my friends like, no, yeah, I think I take a wrong decision, and it used to happen because, as I said, my kid was young, so with her health issues, at times I was not able to like do any progress in like few weeks. It was almost like I haven't progressed at all. So those sort of feelings, they do come, that am I going to actually complete it? But yeah, when you have your family and your close friends involved, involve them from the starting. Just that when you share things with them, they will keep you motivated also. So that did help me as well. So I
Okay,
think you should do that, and then obviously they will support you throughout the journey.
right. Thanks.
Right.
Thank you so much, Purva. I would now request our other alumni speak about his journey. I think Aniseti, he is from the very initial batches of the program, and the kind of learning that Purva and you had is little different, and I'm sure you guys faced many more challenges. But definitely the way your research has come out, right, has been instrumental in setting an example for future batches. So I'll call now Sai Kumar Aniseti to speak on his part, and we can take up more questions after he's done.
Am I audible?
Sorry, I'm saying you'll have to increase your volume a bit.
Yeah, once again, I'll try to.
Firstly, I'm very sorry, Sai, that you have
Okay.
been traveling and you still managed to take up time for to make out time for this session. Thank you for doing that.
Am I audible right now?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, okay, fine. Okay. So, hi everyone. So, I'm Sai Kumar. So, I'm just, I tried to make out for this session at the very last minute. So, thanks for bearing me.
Thank you for doing that, Sai.
I was just little busy with my work and all. That's all. That's no. Okay, let us jump into the topic. So I see like I'm back to my career. I mean, whenever I was with upGrad, so that has the vibe and everything. I'm just recollecting it. Oh, thanks, Purva. So for sharing your insights. So that was actually I was in the same batch or as in the previous batch which Purva started. So I just prepared a simple presentation for you. So I hope it is visible. Okay. This was the agenda of this. So I'll just give my introduction. So how my journey went. So this journey is relevant to my entire career and as well as my career in upGrad and the challenges what I faced and the takeaways from the upgrades and as well as from my career. So finally we'll take about QA session. So just who am I? I'm just a candidate like you people. So who were trying to be in a dilemma like what to do next. So I'm just kind of your candidate. So about my studies, I've completed my bachelor's in mechanical, so master's in as well as in mechanical engineering, and my second master's in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Everyone might wonder like how this mechanical engineering guy has landed up his career in machine learning and AI. So that would be quite interesting to know. Okay, so we'll look into that later on. So what do I do? Currently, I work as a software system designer at AMD India. So you're pretty well sure about AMD. So we just prepare GPUs and some few CPUs which are for a gaming industry. So coming to my journey, so I started as a research associate back then in a mechanical engineering firm like CSIR, which was in a central government firm. So later in my career, I've worked as a senior designer in Volkswagen India, so which was a automotive manufacturing company. So later on, I worked as an assistant professor in at JNTU. So over there, my journey was quite challenging. So it was mentoring students and working as a faculty and upgrading myself as a teacher. So that would be a very toughest job which I've ever faced. So at finally, I've landed up in AMD India. So there is a quite career shift in when after I have left my assistant professorship as a teacher. So how did I do that? So thanks to upGrad, so where it played a key role in completely flipping my coin or flipping my career from completely a hardware background to a software engineer. So this would be quite interesting. So coming to upGrad, so how do I land firstly in upGrad? So there was a recession where we faced at around 2019 as a faculty. So we were given as the lowest priority as a teacher. So a teacher would get a lowest priority, but they are very important in driving students. So that is where I faced after learning how to be a teacher, I want to quit as a teacher. So that is what I've learned. Though it was my passion to become as a teacher, to become as a mentor and train and mentor many students or any corporate employees and all. So later on, see, the main thing, a thought process should be like, what is your next career and where do you fit in without losing your own goal. So I've started searching. At every night you sit and write down in your paper everything. You should be in black and white. I'll say why you need to write everything in a black and white. So put down everything, your thoughts on the paper, not in your brain. You need to put it on a paper. So write everything, document it, just keep it. And I've searched for 2 months. You believe it or not, I've searched like 79 careers which are unrelevant and relevant. You divide whichever is relevant to you and categorize it and choose which career is you are motivated to, which is slightly aligned to your current whatever you are pursuing your current career. So finally, I've landed up want to become an AI and ML engineer so that I can use that expertise back in my mechanical engineering. So that was my in robotics. So that was my aim actually. So that is why I've chose the career in AI ML back then. So later on, what platform do you choose, or else where you need to join? The first thing you will be landed up with multiple platforms. You'll get a call. They'll say that finally I've chosen upGrad only because of their content, the mentorship, and the career support they give. And you attend a session, attend free webinars from upGrad or any other institute, you can compare. I am damn sure that not 1%, you compare the content and the curriculum prepared by upGrad and you compare it with other platforms. That is what really matters to me. So as a professor, I really concentrate on the curriculum, what they maintain. That is what motivated me to join in upGrad. And the professors back then in IIIT Bangalore, whether it might be, or in LJMU, it might be. So how they teach, that is how they, firstly, they start from the very basics. As Purva said, basics are very important in your career. So they start with the very basics and they end up with the top notch. Either land you onto a plane starting from a boat. That is what I could say. That is why I've chose upGrad, and I've landed up in upGrad, started my career. So what happened in upGrad? So okay, so let me see my challenges in my career. So later I'll come and say what the challenges in the upGrad. So my challenges was choosing a bachelor's degree that is of no use except for having a degree. So that is the first thing. Second thing is unplanned career that most of the 90% of the folks do, which we plan it, but it goes unplanned in between somewhere else. That is how we land in a dilemma where we need to choose and how we need to go change your career plan and all. And the fourth thing is facing market crisis. Even though you chose your your ambition to become so and so, you face your market crisis. Example I faced. So I want to become as an automotive designer. So I faced a crisis in the design industry where they want to remove all the design engineers. If I want to join as a mechanical engineer government firm, so they have removed mechanical engineering and civil engineering from the government firms. So there is no intake when I have graduated back then in 2011. So facing the market crisis was a challenge and shifting across domains. As you can see, my career has shifted from multiple domains. It's a completely shift from automotive to assistant professor to a software engineer. So you need to tailor up your career and you need to make out a story from that, as Purva said. Everything is a story. Data science is completely a story. You need to narrate it. So that is what the first skill of a data analyst or data scientist. So how do you deduce a story out of your project or something? That is how you learn. So, and the challenges which I faced in upGrad. So firstly, you have a fear that someone asked a question like, how do I know that whether I could complete, or else if I complete it with a good CGPA, whether I would get a job? So that is your first question. So the second question would be like, after completing my job, I mean your career and all, do I get a job? Or else you aimed to do one particular job that after a year, the market might shift to another thing. When I used to study, AIML deep learning used to be the hot topic. And recently when ChatGPT has evolved, now it is, generative AI is the key. And you should plan your career in such a way that what could be the next thing in your forthcoming years. So that is what you need to think, not the current situation. Yes, generative AI is changing the world, changing everything, changing your jobs, changing our jobs, what the way we do and the way we work. So you need to aim for the next 2 years. What could be your next? How the market goes and all. I would say about how do the market changes and all. So I'll explain that. So that is how you can do it. And while planning your career, first takeaway is your patience. Don't worry that whether you can complete it or not in time. First concentrate on what your learnings are and apply it. So only learning is not, it does not yield anything. You have your lifetime to learn, but you have a situation you cannot apply it. Example, let me take my project in my upGrad. So that was around that I was the second person who, when I chose, the COVID started. So that is how my career was. When I started my MSc in upGrad in LJ with LJMU, that was around March 23 in 2020. Exactly, the COVID has started. So that is the second month which I was in my career. So that was a really shock to us. And as Purva said, we were just startled and we were back of upgrad, and whether we could do it or we don't know. And you have to be patient enough and choose what is your project exactly you are now at this particular stage. Let me talk about that. How do you choose your topic? You think about your present scenario. Example, when we were in COVID, I want to apply my deep learning studies into the present scenario to the COVID. So how could AI ML would help, or deep learning would help in solving or else would assist in COVID situation? That was my project. So the project or the problem statement identified was it was a computer vision model, to develop a computer vision model which actually identifies your mask detection and social distance managing system. So develop a model which actually identifies whether you have worn a mask and you are maintaining a social distancing or not. So at the time, I have implemented that within 2 months of COVID in the first wave. So that was the only model in the current India. So at that time, not currently, at that time. So that was used by government of Telangana. So that model was deployed into every CC camera, and it was deployed all across the Hyderabad city, that where I live in. So that was used by government officials. And that is how you choose a problem statement. Always learning is one part, that is your 50%, and applying your part is another 50%. How do you identify? Go and search the environment, go and talk to the persons, or search, I mean, go attend your AI conferences or something. There you get the problem statement, or problem statement may be in front of your eyes. Think whatever you have learned and try to apply it, whether I could solve it, whether I could solve the X problem, Y problem, Z, whatever it might be. Think in that way. You need to change your thinking, try to apply whatever you have studied in your current problem. It could or it might not solve, but you could land up in the way. How do you think that yields your problem identifying? That is the 60% of the part which plays. uh, Once you identify the problem statement, you have tons of resources to solve it. See, now generative AI, you are not developing a generative AI model right now, right? You're not developing large language models. You're not capable enough. Now, use case, you identify the use case of the how to use an LLM, how to use a generative AI, how to use a ChatGPT, everything, the use case, and apply it in your current scenario. Example, what we actually do is, there is a ChatGPT 3.5 turbo. We actually fine-tuned that model to our internal into our AMD knowledge base, where we try to apply, and it is a closed loop. We developed our own fine-tuned model which can see, when there is a new employee who joins, he want to have 100 questions, so he'll just type it and he'll develop a knowledge base. So that is how we created, that is how we utilized it. And the second thing is, we have testing and validation automation to be done. So we have used LLMs again. So every use case, I identify the use case. That is a primary thing in identifying the problem statement. Once you identify the problem statement, choose your mentor or choose your resource. And in your current stage, you need to choose your mentor. Identify your mentor and learn about what his expertise is. If his expertise is not generative AI, try to shift. Try to ask for a new mentorship. That is how I did. So really, upGrad did a good job. So firstly, there was a different mentor who actually has a different expertise. After that, I joined the deep learning model. So there was a different mentor. So he was really great. Build a relationship and have a business thinking with them. So have a good understanding and maintain your updates, give an update and you talk more. That is how you develop, and you have a fear of like whether you can complete or not. He will assist you, upGrad will assist you, and the resources whatever you have will assist you. So that is how you need to solve your problem statement and have a vision. That means what could be your next after 2 years, what could be your next hot topic? I can say that generative AI on edge devices. Edge devices can be a mobile phone, can be a laptop, or can be a tablet, or else just like an Apple Pro, a Vision Pro. That is example of edge device. How do you bring an generative AI on edge devices? That is the next hot topic in your next year. See, example, if I take a phone of Samsung S24, it has a dedicated generative AI chip inside it. It automatically tracks your every I can't reveal the exact working of it. Even in AMD we have Ryzen AI, which actually tailors your experience, and it delivers the best experience which for using a PC or gaming or everything. And you have many other things. So try to choose the topic from the next what could be ahead, and plan your this thing, and think ahead and aim high. So that is what simple thing. Adapt to the environment, that is another key. So whatever is current scenario, you adapt to it, learn from it. And the collaboration, so you need to collaborate with corporate any other wherever the project or resources are, when there is an open forums, or when there is an open project which you can like a GitHub, you have many other things to dedicate. You can collaborate and work with on. So that could really help you to develop your career and get a land on to your dream job, where you can apply whatever you have learned. So that is the key takeaway. So really, if you want to start, stop talking and begin doing it. So that is what is your thing. That is what I could say in my career in AMD. Sorry, upGrad. So any questions? Hope this is very boring. Could see.
Hi, Sai. Firstly, thank you so much for covering important tips that learners have to do at this particular time. So you mentioned that you have to attend some possibly become part of some publication, possibly try to see if you can attend some conferences, or
Yeah.
leverage resources where you can get to connect with other people and see what kind of potential problems they are solving, or possibly just see what kind of upcoming research work has been done. I think that's a very important tip, which a very important trick, which like we've given very less emphasis on it right now, but that's a very, very useful thing to do. uh,
No,
I
I can say
yeah.
that you did not give a less emphasis on it, but you have given it, but people are failing to identify it and utilize it.
Identify resource, but that's a very good potential area to tap, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're in the starting phase of your research journey. So and you also mentioned about some challenges that you faced with your thesis supervisor, and then how you got a new thesis supervisor, and you were able to resume the rest of your journey there. Do you want to specifically highlight on some important challenges that you weren't able to do specifically in your project, uh, and how the next thesis supervisor was able to guide you on that? And like you rightly said, right, your mindset is important, and the way you you have to work now and get that thing done. So was there anything that specifically came from the next thesis supervisor related to your specific problem statement?
Okay. So to talk up on that particular thing, so my career supervisor, initial career supervisor was, my project advisor or whatever he might be. So he was very much proficient in developing a model. So he was into natural language processing. So he was that kind of project he handles. But my idea was, when I pitched my idea, so he wanted to he did not understand first, and the second thing is he wanted to have his own problem statement to be done by me. So that is the second thing. which
Got it.
can be leveraged. I mean, that is up to you. Who, if a student wants to take a project from the supervisor, he is allowed. That is
Yeah.
okay. That is fine. And at the same time, if we want to have a confidence, you have confidence that this is my problem statement and I want to solve it. Please guide me. So that is what you wanted to do, and please. And then I approached my. There was my mentor. I don't know who was that. Okay, I just approached upGrad, and those people have changed my mentor. And the second mentor who I've got was specifically, he was good at computer vision, so he was working in some other firm. So he was on to he quit the job and he wanted to uh, start. Yeah, he was he was a co-founder of a startup. So at the same time, I was his mentee. I mean, he was my mentor. So the idea was, mostly his domain is computer vision. So after when I saw a potential, like, he accepted whatever the problem statement is. He did not give away like, okay, we could do it like 100%. No one gives that particular assurance. We will
Right.
collaborate and I can help you. You need to find out a way. See, research is not about passing. Always I say to every student or whatever here, any employee, research is not about passing or failing. What do you
Right.
deduce from it? If it fails, okay, that is fine. You will,
Yeah.
your failure would be learned. That would be a learning lesson for another researcher who is working in the same area. So he
Right.
wouldn't waste his time in doing your own path. You can say that that is a failure. Okay, that could be acceptable. Please don't see, always who fears about the failure. That is good, actually. What I can say is, please don't fear about the failure. Research is all about failure. Who failed, they will actually win. That is what I can say simply.
That's a very,
In
very
taking
good
my,
perspective. Yeah.
yeah, see, always see, when I started when face mask and social distance monitoring system. So when Telangana government has approached me, the model was failing at that time. Exactly, when I want to make it as a production, we have a meme that whenever our project will be at production, that will fail. That is what happened to me. See, that was a very intimidating situation where you have to like shiver a lot and you don't know what to do. Then you have to have a patience, like, oh, okay, what is going wrong and all, you need to identify.
Yeah.
Just a simple problem, if you have a patience, identify the problem, and problem would be identified automatically. It has worked in your somewhere in your test machine or somewhere, and if it not worked in production, could be some reason.
Right.
Always see, it is not a failure. See, failure hota hai. Don't worry about the failure. For everyone, I say failure is not at all. It is a part of a research. If you go through that after, maybe these folks will get that research. There is one topic. There is one mandatory subject in. Before they start their masters. So that is the first topic, like type of research.
Yeah.
That could be explained by, that could be their first topic. In that, you will know that failure is also a research. That is
Yeah.
what you should keep in mind. Then your fear will be lost. For all the failures or whoever has fear, let us fail. No problem.
Right. That's very well put, Sai. And I think, like you said, right, failure is important to your research because whatever efforts you've put in before, they also never go wasted.
Yeah,
Like you can
definitely.
always, none of the learning that you've done before will go waste, right? Even if
Yes.
you're changing something in your problem statement, you're changing something in your data set, your approach might change, but at the end of the day, objective will still remain.
Will
And
still remain. Yeah.
to combine Purva's point, right? Your story will keep building. So that's something important for everyone to know. But
Yeah.
uh, one important advice I would want from both of you is, what do you think should be used, or how to leverage the thesis supervisor call? So these learners, 2 weeks from now, will start doing bi-weekly calls with their thesis supervisor. How to make the most use of it, what kind of discussions you should have, what kind of background research you should do and go. If you could throw some light on that, that would be really helpful.
Definitely. Okay. Shall I go first? Okay, I'll
Yeah,
just
yeah.
go first. Okay, so the most important takeaway, initially I did not prepare anything while speaking to my advisor. So that made a worst mistake which I have thought. You need to prepare first. So you need to put up some questions, or whatever your questions, doubts, or whatever it might be prepared. And that session maybe for 1 hour, maybe for 2 hours. Uh, I'm sorry. So maybe for 2 hours, whatever it might be, you need to prepare well. So that is the first agenda. That is the first thing you need to do. And always in every meeting, you have a note. What are the takeaways? You have some questions to ask, whether they have been addressed or not. You make sure your advisor answers everything. If he did not answer some of the questions, you need to research yourself and come up with an idea like, this is my understanding of this particular problem, whether it is wrong or whether it is all right. Or if he don't knows, just ask her in a wider forum. See, some questions which I have problems which I have faced were solved by my peers, not by my advisor. See, always you maintain a good relation with your peers. See, even till now, which there was a collaborative program, collaborative projects with which upGrad has done it. Yes, that was real. That was not helpful really when we did the project. Later on in our career, when we had a problem in our corporate, current in working and all, I just called my colleague and asked like, how did you solve it? And on that particular day, do you have a solution? Yes, he can give a different thought process about it. So always your not only your advisor. See, don't think that advisor is the only god and that the project advisor is that he will solve everything. He is just like you, but with a good experience and all. That's all. So you have your peers, you have your project research, you have your chat GPT and all. Now it is good. It is your best, just like your
But
assistant
yeah,
project
but
supervisor.
don't rely on it like
Don't
too
rely on
much.
it, yeah.
It will misguide you
Sure,
at
sure.
times.
It will hallucinate itself. Now everything, now every data is generated by the chat. The generative AI. The answer
That
itself is
that's
going to
what
be a hallucination.
right.
So
That's what I was
hallucinating
saying. Like
Yeah.
when I did my research, I was blessed. These models were not there.
not there.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
now
go ahead, Purva.
while working on these models also, so yeah, prompts. So as I said, like I can relate it. When you are going to your thesis supervisor also, think of it how you are asking question to your GPT. So you have to use the right prompt to get the right answer. So
Exactly.
yeah, be as Sai clearly said that you have to be prepared with your questions. Be like take some time, note down all the doubts that you have. Even if they are like stupid, it's doubt, it's okay, totally okay. Go and ask it. The only
Yeah,
thing is you'll get that no, this is a stupid question. I'm not going to answer it, but that's okay.
exactly.
Go ask. Yeah, and have a clear takeaways from the meeting. So this is what we asked. This is what my next to do is, and when we meet next time, this is going to be the agenda. Okay, I'll be doing this research, and then we will meet next. So that should be your way to approach. So, and then that will help you.
Got it. Thank you so much, Purva and Sai, for throwing light on that. Uh, Definitely on how to give good prompts to the thesis supervisor is something learners should, like everyone in this group should be able to like do well, and I hope they'll do well. But any other question, guys? I think you know these two have really put out really good insights and challenges that they faced. If you really want to understand something from a person who's done the program, right? These two are the right spot, and you can leverage this time and ask now. If not now, you can reach out to them later, or you can reach out to upGrad, and we'll make sure that we can get you connected to them. Yeah, Arnab, please speak. I think you will have access to mic.
Yeah, hi. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I would like to ask a question to Pooja specifically. So, Pooja, as you said that you went ahead with your NLP project. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I would like to know, like, what exactly is the purpose of this project? Was it just for going ahead and completing our masters, or were there any real-time benefit coming out of from this project?
Okay. So one thing is that when I started with my project, that time it was a very new area where people were not very much aware that AI is even generating something like fake news. Because that time even the fake news was to tell you I started it in 2019. So after that, but when COVID came in, that is the time when people actually realize the importance of it, because the havoc it can create if you have something like GPT or AI model where the source cannot be traced, and it generates a text which is very, very realistic, and it's very difficult for a human to detect whether it is true or false. It's so convincing. So that is actually a fascinating area where I did want to do this research. So obviously completion, yes, that is going to be one of the criteria. I'm sure everybody wants to get that. But along with it, I did want to pick up this topic, which was somewhere connected with the society as well. That what we can what because we are living in a society where you'll get tons of SMS, tons of WhatsApps every day, and even my parents or my in-laws who are like of that age, they always fall prey to such kind of things कि अच्छा something has come, नहीं internet पे आया है तो वो सही होगा, ये भी एक जो concept है ना. So that was like I was like, no, this is not true, this is not true. So then yeah, that was kind of interesting area for me as well.
Great, that was a fine answer. But Pooja, I would like you to add up on this, like how that project, that particular individual project, help you in landing the kind of job that you were looking for. That was also there in the question.
Okay. So for me, I was already in my data and analytics area. So I had about 14 years of experience in data and analytics, and I was working on data science projects. But I never got an opportunity to work on any NLP project. So that's why, as I said, like I wanted, these were two blockers for me, that I have never learned NLP and I have not learned or not done something in deep learning. So I wanted to do something on those two areas so that I can learn from it. And after that I switched my domain from with the entire experience plus the degree that I had, to prove that I have nowadays people need that proof that you know it, even though you know it, you need that proof. So that proof also helped me while switching and getting into a role of AI engineering manager that I'm right now. And then switching to generative AI, it was not a big deal because I was already doing ML and AI projects. So the next buzz, as soon as it came in, and with my background that I already had done NLP and researched these generative AI models back then, it was easy for me to get into these shoes and understand how these things work. So yeah, that was really helpful for me.
Thank you for the answer.
And I would like to add to that, like Sai had made it very, explained it very nicely, that we need to think ahead. So that will help you. So you need to think what is the next buzz in industry and then choose your topic that way, so that that topic would also help you, not just the degree.
Okay.
Right. Sai
So, Pooja, concluding to that, there is one more thing, like as you have said before, that the idea of pursuing or proposing any kind of topic to the mentor, if it is more abrupt, then it is more better, right? Something like that I got from your conversation.
Not exactly abrupt, but it has to be unique, something that people have not solved before. Then yes, that will be more convincing. But you also need to see the relevance of the topic, not that just I want to make my pet cat talk. Yeah, that's my problem statement. Nobody has done it before. But you also need to see if there is any applicability of it.
Of course,
Industry-wise or social.
relevation is very important. Of course,
Yeah.
I agree to that. So, just a small question, okay? So, see, as I am coming from a business analytics background, and I personally do not have any kind of motive to go towards NLP or deep learning. My motive is to go towards higher managerial positions, which eventually I will get. So, in that case, I want to stick to my domain of business analytics only. I have gone through some research papers, And those research papers, what I have found, like there is a huge amount of papers linked to a single topic or a single kind of problem statement. Okay, not much of, you can say, variety is available. So in that case, on this particular case, what would you like to suggest? And also, Sai, please, I would like to have your input as well on the same question. Thank you.
Yeah. So I would say if you do not see a very specific problem statement to solve, and if it is analytics, why don't you combine generative AI and analytics and see where the industry is going with these two advents? So that will be another interesting area of research, that what are the impacts that it is causing, that generative AI is causing in terms of analytics. Because now earlier, if you see, I'm sure you are in analytics business, so you know that charts and graphs and visuals were paid more importance before the language models have come in. Now they are more into like, how do we generate the narratives out of it? How do we generate the stories out of it? So you can see, or you can even highlight onto the trends or the switch that the market is making towards, and how it has modified. That also can be a good research area, and you can create a problem statement around it.
Sai, can we have
Yeah.
your input as well?
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Purva. So, one thing. So, the identity, as I said, identifying the problem statement is itself a big challenge. Is itself a research. So, you identify your project, problem statement. That itself is a project. Now, how do you identify it? The only key sites. I'll give an example. Simply in your business analytics, there is a current Google program which is going on. So after Gemini has released, now Google is planning. See, generally now currently Google supports about 60 or around 50 plus corpuses of languages. Now it is aiming to have 62 corpus of languages aimed into it. It is now incorporated with Google Earth. Why Google Earth and this came into picture? There is a program where now if you want a loan for a crop into a farmer, what a bank does, it comes to your crop, it verifies whether it is yours, whatever you are doing it, and later on you will be granted a loan. The process for this entire thing goes about a few months. What Google did, they gave some XYZ APIs, or I cannot say reveal it, to a bank. What it currently does is it logs in. Now it checks using Google Earth the history of the crop, what he planted, what he did, and everything, and it suggests whether which to give a loan or not. So in the same way, another company has started. What is he has started? Which companies could be a great at a particular spot? If I want to have a business at one particular place at a given location, what could be the better thing? Take a help of Google Earth, take a help of this generative AI, collaborate with it, develop it, and you could have a good solution. Now, combining Google Earth with the generative AI is two different topics. You cannot have a link between these two. So that is how the thinking does. See, just like the light is somewhere and the switch is somewhere, you should not search like a switch at the point of the light. You cannot. You will be get blinded. That is what we are currently going on. We will only be searching wherever we wanted to see. This is your topic. This is my domain. I want to search over here. Think hatke. You want to search it. Search the solo problem itself in a different perspective. So that is how you need to think, and don't think about the papers, or else see there are very limited papers on one topic, there are very limited papers on other topic. There are only two topics, you find the third topic which is far more different. How do you do it? You search it at a different place. Whether whether you could apply that in your business analytics or not, that is a simple which is relevant or not, I don't know, but I have a example of it out of it.
No,
Thanks, that answers my question.
Happy.
I just
That's
want to add one point. So Arnab, you I think majority of your question has already been answered by Sai and Purva. But if you are finding like a lot of papers in a specific topic and you feel that there's lack of innovation there, see, the topic might keep, like, for example, if I'm looking at time series forecasting for a stock market data, right? It might sound a very repetitive topic, and when you go on the web of journals or conferences, you will see a lot of papers. But there is something that you'll always keep exploring in these, and you will understand this once you start reading some papers, right? So, for example, time series forecasting of stock market data sounds like a very common example. But if I had to do this analysis on a recently developed, not so recent now, it's almost a year old, but let's say the Ukraine-Russia war, right, affected some business sectors in Russia, and then those business sectors of Russia impacted the global economy of the world, right? So even though time series forecasting of stock market sounds very niche and common, a specific application in this area and on the recent developments, there'll always be some research on recent developments like these, and those are some potentials you can tap if you feel that you do not want to put your hands on, very other technically rigorous domains. I hope like that also solves your problem.
Thanks for that input.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Sorry, we took like a good amount of time on
May I
that,
launch
but
the
I
poll?
hope
Sorry
that
for
was,
interrupting.
yeah.
May I launch the poll meanwhile?
Yes, please do. Any else question, guys, or we can wrap up this session?
Hey, thanks to you also, Purva. I mean, and also for Deval. Mainly, we both need to thank Deval first
Yes,
for backing us up.
definitely.
So she was really back of me, like whether I could join or not. At the last stage, I gave a really shock to her. I'm not joining at all in this. Okay,
No,
thanks,
thank you
Deval.
so much for joining, and considering that I've interacted with you in the past, and of course I know about the challenges that you face, the way you've gone through the program, right? I desperately wanted you both to speak on your journey and challenges so that it's helpful for the audience now to, in fact, you faced uh, challenges during COVID time, like you both highly rightly
Most effective
mentioned,
batch.
and yeah. And some parts of the learning experience were also a little different, but you still managed to, like, give important things to the relevant to the audience now. So that was helpful. Thank you. In fact, for people who could not attend, no, definitely please do give this recording. If you feel that your peers have missed, and especially, like, because alumni sessions we'll keep doing again, but during that respective phase of the program, right now you're in the topic selection phase, sorry, before the topic selection phase. So and these tips and tricks that they've discussed is important, so make sure that you share this with your peers. Okay, so has the poll ended?
Yeah, I can.
Pratik. Yes. So, Pratik, I see we have no more questions. We can end this session. Thank you so much, Sai and Purva, for joining, and thank you for your valuable insights. Thank you, everyone. I hope this was great. This was insightful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All the best to
Thanks, Deval.
everyone.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks, Purva. Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.